I had no idea that within the next few hours I'd find out just how forgotten I really was, and that this birthday would change everything. They say you should expect nothing and you won't be disappointed, and honestly, I thought I'd gotten good at that. Still, somewhere deep inside, a small stubborn part of me, the part that hadn't completely burned out, hoped today would be different. Maybe a simple happy birthday text, maybe a call. Something. Now I woke up to silence, sunlight spilled through the half closed blinds of my small apartment in Austin. Same as every other morning, the clock on my nightstand blinked 8:03 a.m., later than usual, but it didn't matter. I didn't have any grand plans, I never did. I rolled out of bed, the worn wood floor cool against my feet, and shuffled to the kitchen. The coffee pot gurgled to life as I leaned against the counter, scrolling through my phone. No new messages, no missed calls, not even a recycled happy birthday post from last year's group chat. I wasn't surprised to really, I wasn't. My family had this way of making me invisible when it suited them, but this was still my 36th birthday. You'd think, after fixing their internet every Thanksgiving, after setting up their rental house's smart locks, after helping them with everything tech-related for years, I'd at least earn a "hope you're doing well." Sipping my coffee, I stared out the window at the empty street, telling myself it didn't matter. I was used to it. I was used to being forgotten, until something broke and they needed me. After breakfast, I figured I'd check Instagram, not because I wanted to, but because old habits die hard. Most birthdays, even if my family forgot, at least a couple of random acquaintances would leave a comment or throw up a happy B-day bro story tagged. I opened the app, and there it was. A new post. My sister, her husband, my parents, all smiling wide under a bright blue sky, standing in front of an airport terminal. The caption? Family trip. Off to paradise for a week. We deserve it. I blinked, read it again, and again. Wait, what? I scrolled faster, heart starting to thump against my ribs. A photo after photo, luggage shots, boarding passes, champagne in the lounge. Everyone was there, everyone except me. My birthday, and they were flying to the Bahamas, or maybe Hawaii, without even mentioning it. I refreshed the app thinking maybe I missed a message, maybe they had planned a surprise for later, maybe something. But no, the truth sat there, cold and ugly. They'd packed up, boarded a plane, and left me behind like I didn't even exist. At first, I just stared at my phone, like if I looked hard enough, reality would shift and make it make sense. Then came the heat, a slow burn crawling up my neck, flushing my face. No, I whispered to no one. No way, they just forgot. I opened our family group chat, dead silent for 2 days. I checked my texts, nothing. Checked missed calls, 0. It wasn't a mistake, it was a choice. And for the first time in a long time, I realized just how disposable I was to them. I sat there, phone heavy in my hand, debating what to do. A part of me wanted to let it go, pretend it didn't hurt, pretend I was above it. But the bigger part of me, the human part, needed to know why. I scrolled through my contacts and hit call on my brother's name. It rang twice before he picked up, his voice casual, almost bored. Yo, he said, background noise of laughter and clinking glasses spilling through the line. I swallowed the lump in my throat. Hey, just saw you guys are, on a trip? He laughed, actually laughed. Yeah, dude, needed a break. Life's stressful, you know? Right. I said, voice tighter than I wanted. So, nobody thought to invite me, or even tell me? There was a beat, a pause so small you might miss it if you weren't desperately listening for it. Then he chuckled again, lighter this time. Come on, man, you know nobody really cares about birthdays after you turn like, what, 25? My chest felt like it caved in a little. But it's not just the birthday, I said quietly. It's the fact that nobody even told me. Another shrug through the phone. You're always doing your own thing anyway, figured you wouldn't care. He said it like I was the one being dramatic, like my hurt was some inconvenience to him, and that's when it hit me. The hundreds of tech fixes, the late-night troubleshooting calls, the passwords reset, the broken locks repaired, all the times I dropped everything to help, treated like nothing more than the family's personal IT guy, disposable or forgettable. Something inside me snapped, not loudly, not dramatically, just a quiet, permanent click. Yeah, I said, voice low. You're right. I hung up before he could respond, and right there, in the middle of my worn-out kitchen, I made a silent promise to myself: no more fixing, no more saving, no more being their backup plan. They didn't care when I was useful, they sure as hell didn't deserve me now. I stood in the middle of my kitchen for a long time after that call ended, just standing there. No music, no noise. Just the low hum of the fridge and the heavy, growing silence in my chest. I thought about all the things they never saw, all the times I fixed the busted Wi-Fi at Mom's rental house so her Airbnb guests wouldn't leave bad reviews, the weekends I gave up to install new smart locks when Dad forgot the codes again, the endless text chains. Can you reset my Netflix? Why won't my emails load? Can you help us book the cabin? No thank yous. No payments, just expectations, because I made it easy. I made me easy, always available, always reliable, always invisible, and for what? To be left behind like an afterthought. I set my coffee cup down carefully, the ceramic tapping the counter just once. Enough. It wasn't raged, it wasn't sadness, not really. It was something cleaner. Sharper. I didn't know them anything anymore, not my time, not my skills, not my constant availability like some free tech support hotline for people who barely remembered my birthday. I wasn't going to be their fixer anymore, I wasn't going to be their safety net. If they wanted to treat me like I didn't exist, fine, let them find out what life was like without me holding it together, and for the first time in years, the thought didn't make me feel guilty. It made me feel freed. It didn't take long. Sunday afternoon, barely 2 days after their sunny family photos hit Instagram, the first messages started rolling in. Hey, can you check the Wi-Fi at the lake house? The guest said it's down. The smart lock isn't working, the renters can't get in. Can you reset the security cameras? Dad thinks something's wrong? I stared at the notifications piling up, the group texts, missed calls, voicemails. Same people who couldn't spare a single happy birthday now suddenly needed me, needed the fixer they'd taken for granted. I placed my phone face down on the counter, walked to the fridge, poured myself a glass of water, did nothing. For the first time in forever, I didn't jump up. Didn't reach for my laptop. Didn't feel that panic tug in my chest telling me be useful or you're worthless. No, not anymore. They'd made it loud and clear. I was invisible unless they needed something. Well, let's see how invisible I could really be. Each text that came in felt lighter than the last, like weights falling off my shoulders instead of piling on. By nightfall, I hadn't answered a single one. And for the first time in my adult life, I slept like a stone. No guilt. No shame, just peace. By Monday, the tone shifted. At first, it was just more requests, slightly more desperate now. Please, it's urgent, the guests are threatening to leave bad reviews. Mom can't figure out the rental app without you, please just fix it. When that didn't work, they escalated. My brother called 5 times back to back, before finally leaving a voicemail. His voice was sharp, annoyed, like I was the one causing problems. You're being petty, man, this isn't just about you. You're screwing over the whole family. Then came the texts from my mother, short, heavy. I'm crying. I don't understand why you're doing this. Your father is so stressed. We just wanted a little vacation. Is that so wrong? Guilt, the oldest trick in the family playbook, and for a second, just a second, that familiar knot twisted in my gut, that little boy part of me that had spent decades trying to be good enough stirred awake. Maybe I'm overreacting. But then I remembered standing alone in my kitchen on my birthday, forgotten. I remembered the mocking laugh in my brother's voice when he said nobody cared. I remembered being invisible unless there was a problem that needed fixing, and I realized something brutal and beautiful. Their feelings were not my responsibility anymore. I didn't break anything, I didn't ruin anything, I just stepped away, and if everything was collapsing without me, that said more about them than it did about me. I muted the group chat, turned off notifications, and for the first time in years, I chose my own peace over their approval. By the end of the week, the cracks turned into full-on fractures. It started with an angry voicemail from my sister. Because of you, we just lost 2 bookings. Do you even care what you're doing to us? Apparently, the smart lock at the rental house stayed jammed for 3 straight days. Guests showed up, couldn't get inside, and left furious. One of them even blasted a nasty review online, dropping the property's rating from 5 stars to barely 3.5. Another guest had issues with the Wi-Fi. No connection meant they couldn't work remotely. They demanded a full refund. Another hit the family group chat, which used to be a graveyard, now buzzed like a kicked hornet's nest. Someone needs to fix this now. Our reputation is at stake. We're bleeding money. I didn't answer. They scrambled, trying to call locksmiths, IT guys, anyone they could find, but the systems I'd set up were all layered with admin controls, passwords, security settings, configurations they never bothered to learn, because why would they? They had me, until they didn't. I heard through the grapevine that one of their rental properties got flagged for repeated guest complaints, that the app temporarily suspended their listing for unresolved technical issues. Which of course meant no income until it was sorted out, and still, not a single real apology. No one said, "We're sorry we treated you like an afterthought." No one said, "We realize we took you for granted." They didn't want me back because they loved me, they wanted me back because they needed me to patch the sinking ship, and for once I wasn't going to save them. Saturday night, I sat on my balcony, a cool breeze brushing against my face, watching the city lights blink like distant stars. My phone buzzed beside me on the table, again. 23 unread messages. Missed calls from mom.dad.my brother.my sister, same pattern, begging, demanding. Guilt tripping. Just come back and fix it. Think about the family. Don't throw everything away over a little misunderstanding. I sipped my coffee slowly, savoring the quiet, the peace they had never once given me, the peace I had finally chosen for myself. I didn't need them to understand, I didn't need them to approve, and I sure as hell didn't need to keep setting myself on fire to keep them warm. For the first time in my life, I chose me. I picked up my phone, scrolled through the endless frantic messages, and without hesitation, muted the family group chat indefinitely. No anger, no sadness, just a calm, steady certainty. They made their choices, and now, finally, I had made mine. Now I leaned back in my chair, feeling lighter than I had in years, not because they changed, not because they apologized, but because I finally stopped asking for a seat at a table where I was never really welcome. That night, under the wide Texas sky, I made myself a simple promise. No more fixing. No more explaining. No more shrinking to fit into someone else's small idea of me. I wasn't the family's fixer anymore, I was my own person, and that was enough. It always had been.